This is a TopStep funded futures account, and I'm going to show you how to start trading futures to making $500 to $1,000 a week to even making $500 a day using these simple principles and how you can get started today. Now, this video is going to be a little bit different than most of my other content that I make here on the channel, and it's kind of going to be like a one take. I'm not going to do any edits. I'm jumping straight into it. Now, the first thing I want to do here is answer questions, okay? And what I want to do right now is go over a lot of people that follow me or a lot of people that are trading are really familiar with options. And I want to show you the difference between futures and options. So when we look at options, this is basically what happens. If you have an option contract, let's say you go into whatever broker you're using. For this case, we'll use Moomoo, for example. You buy an Apple contract. Well, this is what's really, I'm breaking it down very simply, what moves your contract and provides the value. So let's say you buy your option. In order for you to sell it for a specific value, this is what's really kind of taking place there, right? You have your price movement going from $150 a share to $160. You have your time in the trade. How long did it take for that to happen with that option? And then the volatility, the speed in which it's happening, the movement up or down, right? And that's how you get to your value. So there's a lot of things going into this that dictate how much you're going to make and how much you can make. Now, when I look at option or futures, okay, it's very simple, right? Futures, you buy your contract, it's your price movement. That's the value of the trade. There's nothing else that you really have to consider or think about except the overall movement of what's happening with futures. And I'll go into futures and what they are and things like that here in a second. But that's the biggest thing that I will explain. Now, I think both markets are awesome. And I will tell you, I see people every day. This is our Discord. And I'm not promoting anyone joining this, but I want to use this as a case so you can understand. There's people trading futures and there's people just trading options. An option trader here made really good money on the day. A future trader here made really good money on the day. So there's going both ways and understanding what can really take place there. Now, the other part of this as well, something that I've really been going over, and I wanted to show the success stories and what's kind of happened there. There's also bad stories out there, but again, I just go over what you guys tell me. And so this was a message that I recently got. And I had just recently been starting the education here on this channel, and this guy did really well. He saw options were his main source of trading, switched over to futures, and it fit him better. And that's the ultimate goal here of understanding what fits you as a trader and knowing the differences of where you should be focusing. So that's the really big point. You can pause this and read it if you want. There's other stories like this on Twitter. This is the one that I posted today that was sent to me today. So again, that's the biggest part here. And so when we go into futures and we start breaking this down, it's important that we understand the difference. So if you are someone that gets easily confused by options, understand futures are a simpler point of view. The next step beyond this too are what are the benefits and who is futures really for, right? So I put in three major categories, and this is all obviously based on my opinion of how I view futures. Number one, if you are trying to scalp every day and just get in and out of the market and you do not want to hold, you do not want to swing trade, or you don't have that capability. And what do I mean by having that capability? You don't have the self-control to, hold through downside or hold through upside to your specific target, whatever it may be, to have that risk reward. Futures may be for you. Number two, you can trade ranges. So what does this mean? If you're trading in a tight range on futures, and I say this all the time with stocks, if the SPY is moving in a dollar range back and forth, trading stocks really in options is not really going to be a great option for yourself, right? When you trade futures, you can trade a tighter range because you understand the key levels moving back and forth based on what we teach on the channel, okay? Requires a different type of discipline. In my opinion, there's a difference because you have to understand who you are. If I'm trading a range, I might only be aiming for 10 points in a day, maybe making $150, $200. Whereas with options, I might be shooting for bigger gains per trade. There's a difference. So it does require discipline, and you will end up most likely taking more trades with futures in a day than you would take with options. So it does require a different type of discipline of knowing, hey, I'm up, it's time to get out, setting rules for yourself and things along those lines. But the biggest thing here is for the people that want to get into quick trades and get in and get out. And I see a lot of traders with options that want to do this quick scalping, but options may not be the best opportunity or provide the best source of that as well. And I've seen all these people with the common denominator that I've been talking to lately or watching the videos is that they want to trade and get in and get out and be done. And this has become the real winner, in my opinion, for those people. So that's what I want to talk about. Okay, now before we start diving into the platforms, things like that, I want to explain what a funded account really is. Okay. So there's two layers to this. Okay. Number one, you buy an account, you get funded, right? You pay for whatever that is, a 50K account, whatever it may be, for $50, right? So you have to go prove yourself, get funded, go through all that, go abide by their rules and objectives, you get funded. Now, the next step from this, you have to prove you're profitable. Now, you can still get paid out from this, right? But they are not putting real money behind your trades, just to let you know. Okay, they are not. So people are still like, well, they're giving me 50K to trade with. Not necessarily. Okay, they are not necessarily giving you 50K to trade with. That's just the overall size of your account, if you will. You still have a $2,000 stop loss on that account. Now, you need to understand these platforms are built around traders that lose money and continue buying accounts over and over and over. Okay, and then eventually you get to that point of a live account. Now, you still can withdraw money from this point. That's usually why they say we let you take 100% of your games up until X amount, and then we'll probably move you to a live account, in which at the live account, you're literally trading with their money, and it might be like $10,000, whatever it may be, right? And you can withdraw that at any point in time. They take a cut, etc., right? So sim account, real money. And typically it takes about 30 days to get that live account right there. But understand, once you get funded, you are getting paid. You can withdraw your money at any point in time according to their rules, whatever it may be. So understand that. And for people wondering, well, how are they making money? Anything like that. I wanted to show you something. This is not to run down Apex Trader, by the way. I'm not at all running Apex Trader down. But Apex Trader is currently in a lawsuit. It's a funded futures broker out there, right? But they're not being sued or anything like that. It's an internal argument between one of the founders not getting paid what he thinks he should be getting paid. But they have to disclose how much net profit and money they're making a month. Apex Trader made $17 million net profit, I believe, in August. $17 million. That is after paying out traders. Okay. It also goes in to show that they were paying out traders X amount of money, things like that. So the solvency issues and questions out there for these funded, brokers, understand there's a lot of bad traders out there. So that's why I also say this is not a get rich quick scheme. You have to do your due diligence, make sure you have a strategy, and you're applying it with all of your trades. Now, this is going to be one of the most important areas of the video that we have to go over, okay? Because this will depict the price value that you're getting for your futures. And most people, when you trade futures, you will trade the Nasdaq. You can look at the equal values for ES and Dow, but most people will trade the Nasdaq if you're looking to trade. And for the sake of the video, that's what I'm going to cover. I don't want to make this too long. Okay, so when you're trading, there's minis, which is a normal NASDAQ contract, right? Minis, just NQ. And then there's micros. Now, if I'm looking to trade a mini, okay, you need to understand a few things really quick here. Number one, your fluctuation of price. So a point value, this can be a little bit deceiving, right? So a point value is getting a dollar move on the NASDAQ. So let's hypothetically come in here, right? And let's say we're going to go short right at this point of, let's say, just a flat number of 21,090 flat, and we're going to go short down 10 points. Okay, that is what we're looking at. Okay, that is just a clear cut point of what we're looking at here. There's nothing else going on, right? So getting this move to the downside, actually, let's go down one more point. So it's a flat dollar right there. That's overall 40 ticks. Okay, but 1 point is a $1 move. And again, I don't know why they do it like this, but this is just the best way to explain it, especially when we're on here. Okay. So if I'm trading a mini, a normal NASDAQ contract, NQ flat, that's it. Okay, just NQ. Every dollar is going to be $20. Okay, every dollar move is going to be $20. Dollar to the downside, dollar to the upside. Okay, so a 10-point move in this case, right, would be $200. So if we got the drop from 21,089 down to 21,079, you'd be $200 in profit, or if you went to the upside, it'd be $200 in the negative. Okay, that's what's happening there. That is per one NQ contract. Now, the other side of this, for people like, well, I want to trade with less money, I want to get my feet wet, understand this. Again, I'll explain this here in a second, but M and Q, these are micros. Okay, so what happens here? So every dollar move is worth $2 instead of the 20. Right? It's a tenth of the overall value. And you can scale into these. So you can trade 5 if you wanted. But guess what? every 10 points that you get here is what? It's going to be $20 instead of $200. So you can scale with 5 if you want to half the overall price of instead of doing $200 per 10 points, it'll be $100 if you're doing 5 of these because again, 20 times 5 equals $100 of looking at the overall tick value of what you're looking at there. Now, the other part of this as well, you can go and break this down a little bit more simple, things like that. I broke it down as simply as I could. Some people have hiccups on it, right? Now, if you're depending what broker you're using. Now, like I mentioned, I went and bought a simulated account here just to go over this on TopStep. Some of them will break this down very simply. TopStep does this in a manner which is very simple to understand. Very, very, very easy to understand, okay? So they'll actually have your price points over here. And one of the other reasons I wanted to go over on TopStep is I do think it has a lot of beginner-friendly things. But the other point of this that I will, have to point out there is that there are some errors on their platform, especially TopStep X, which that's what this is. But besides that, if you're a pretty responsible trader, you shouldn't have too many issues, I will say. Probably my top 3 brokers or funded accounts out there. So for the sake of this, I'm going to go into a MNQ for you. Actually, I'll do NQ first, just a regular NQ contract, NASDAQ. So if I'm going short, we're just going to click right here. We're going to set a limit sell for one contract at 21,090, right? We'll see if we get filled really quickly here. Actually, we'll just force the trade here just so we can get filled for the sake of the video. And so we're filled there. Now there's a few things you can look at here on the platform. You can go over here and then you can see what's happening right here of what your price point will be. Okay, this is very important. So our entry was right here and you can zoom in and see for every value, how much you'd be down versus how much you'd be up and setting your targets, right? So if I want to come in here, I want to have a 10-point target roughly, just for the sake of this as well. I'm going to go in to limit buy one of those contracts. You can also go to set targets, things along those lines. But quickly doing that, we're already up $200 minus our fee there as well, as you can see. And it's that simple to look at what we're looking at there as well. Now, if I go to minis and understand that was a 1 NQ contract. Now, if I go to mini contracts here, right? MNQ. Okay, it'll automatically put in the contract for you for whatever quarter you're in. Now, if I go here and I enter one contract, let's just quickly enter. We'll do a limit sell. I always recommend limiting just because you won't get as bad of a feel. Like just understand that, if you know, right? So again, limiting an order right there. We can just get in a little bit more aggressively to make sure we get it because I want to prove a point here. Oh my gosh, there you go. So we're filled. Now you can see. Right? So we're filled at, you can actually see right here, 210083. If you go down 10 points, 0.25 to right here, you can see it's only $20, right? So our profit target down at 21,073 would be roughly $20 there. We can actually set a limit buy here, and you can go in and set a stop if you want as well, wherever you want to set that. Again, for me, I'm manually watching most of my trades at all times. Like, I don't feel the need necessarily to have a stop for myself if I'm sitting here watching. So again, this is a very quick and easy tool to use. No matter what broker you're using, it's very simple, very easy to use. Now, a few other things you can do, right? So let's say you want to market it. Let's say you're watching for a break. Maybe you have TradingView open right next to it, whatever you're using. And also know this is connected like to TradingView, so the charting is very similar. You just can't use custom indicators, right? So let's say I enter, one, I want to market in getting quick, right? So it'll market me in. Now, understand a few things. It might not be the best fill when you're marketing in, okay? It's going to be a little bit worse typically. Maybe you'll get lucky sometimes, right? But let's say I just want to get out. I'm like, okay, this trade's going opposite. Instead of setting a limit, anything like that, I can go right into here and I can just hit close position at any point in time. But I want to use this as an example of your current trades down here so you can see. Just giving you an example of this limiting. Let's say I want to go in here and I just want to, right now it says I'm down $5.
Order
right?
filled.
I closed out. I got P&L is only minus 1.5, right? So sometimes it's going to be different. It might get you a better fill, quicker, whatever it may be, but just understand. So you can close that position at any time with a quick close there as well, okay? You can also take your trades from this side down here. I don't recommend doing that. I always recommend using this right here. Now, the next part of this as well, most funded accounts, whatever, will have this on their platform. The best ones, in my opinion, My Funded Futures is awesome for this. They really break it down to you for you. Have a calendar. It's all really cool what they have. TopStep is very solid as well. Another one is Tradeify, very solid. Those are all good ones that I would like and I would recommend. The link for Tradeify and MyFunded is down below as well. Tradeify, you can actually straight to fund it if that's what you want to do, but you'll pay a little bit more of a premium. Now, the things here, you obviously have specific targets on your account that you have to be looking for when it comes to these funded accounts, right? In order to get funded, activate them, right? So again, you'll obviously have your consistency target. What's happening here? Reach and maintain X amount. You can't have over 50%. It'll break it all down for you here as well. Your average winning, average loser, things along those lines. So I really recommend taking that data for yourself also. But what I will say is during that funded process, I tend to be a little bit more risky. And then I go to my, typical stop losses, things along those lines, clear cut trades once I am funded. So again, what I would take into account, make sure you're using the tools at your disposal. Like the tools that they give you here on TopStep are very nice. Same with MyFunded and Tradeify. They really do a lot of the journaling, showing you if you're taking good trades, bad trades, if you're over risking as well. They really take a lot of the grunt work for the trader out. And although, they want you to kind of fail so they can continue to make money, they do provide the tools so you do not. Now, before I let you out of here completely, what I will say here as well, you can go and look up all this information for the other types of currencies, commodities you can trade on these funded accounts. Primarily, I trade Nasdaq 9 out of 10 times. So there's no real reason to get crazy or trade a bunch of random different things. But again, you can look, it's a very simple Google search. Just type in the ticker, type in value per tick, all you need to know, right? So things to look at there if you have questions. I think when you look at futures, it can be daunting. It can be challenging to make the switch, but I encourage users to really take the next step of educating yourself before you make the jump or the switch. I have seen time and time again now over the past 2 months, 2 to 3 months is how long I've been doing the education now, as far as making it weekly here on this channel. And I have seen these guys do amazing. I've seen traders that were getting by start to actually kill it. One of the guys I mentioned earlier, he's making $3,000 to $5,000 a week at this moment, and he might be an outlier. But the point is if you really start to put the work in, I promise you will see some sort of result, right? Now, the question is are you going to put real work in? Or are you going to fake it and lie to yourself when you're putting that work in? I can't be the judge of that. Only you can. Follow for more content. I'll see you next time.